Hey everyone, this is Leland Bartlett with Rip Roar Training Consulting. We're going to continue our adventure with the database, and today we're going to be working on creating a product ID from the data that we enter. So in this case, we're going to type in a chair, all 33, back strong, good to know, C1 with vegan leather, chair, and their furnishing category. Now watch what happens up there in the product ID. See how it generates an automatic number for us? That's what we're going to be working on today. So we're going to begin our data entry, and we're going to start with a product list. If we take a look at the product list, one of the things that we have to account for is the product ID, and we want to make sure that that goes in correctly. So I want to automate this. And when you look at the product ID, you see that it's TEC, SU, and then some number, okay? And if you look over here at the category ID and the subcategory ID, you notice that TEC is the first three letters of the category ID, and SU is the first two letters of the subcategory, and they concatenate that with a unique number. Now, I did look at that number, and I tried to figure out if that was a date or something. I couldn't figure something specific out. There's no like consistent stepping in it. It kind of seems random in there. So I figured what I'm going to do is take the max number that's in there now and then just add 1, 10, 15, 100 to it to make that just start being consistent in regards to the number. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to create this and add this number, the end number here, on with an addition to it. So let's take a look at how to do that. We'll create a form. Add generic form here, and this bottom point here I don't need because it's the orders that the product is in, and I don't need that for this data entry. So we'll go up in design view and we'll come in here and just click on it and delete that out. Now let's go back to here real quick. That if you take a look at the data entry process, is that the tech or the category in typical data entry, the category ID and the subcategory ID don't get entered until after the product ID. So what I want to do is I want to make a function that automatically populates this after I exit that, because those two will be in place. Additionally, I want to make the product ID not part of the data entry process. So I'm going to want to skip this and even make this field so the user cannot get into it and change it by accident or on purpose, regardless. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to create an event that triggers a little bit of code that produces us this product ID when we exit the subcategory field. So we'll go into design view and we'll click on the subcategory ID. And if you don't have the property sheet visible when you do that, you can just right click on the field that you're going to want the properties of and choose properties. Don't choose form properties, choose properties. Then we're going to click on event, and the event I want is on exit when I leave that field, because then I know it's been populated. Oh, one other thing I want to back up to real quick before we get in here. Now notice here that the technology or the text is in the fields. I have ID for both of these. I don't know if you remember from when we did the table setup, we had what's called a lookup, and it goes and looks up the text value in another table and displays it for us, but behind the scenes it's still the numeric value. This is just here for the user friendliness of it all. So when I reference something from this field, I have to reference what's actually there, not the text that I put there from the lookup field, and you'll see that in a second why that's important. But I just wanted you to know that this is actually a number behind the scenes, not the text. All right, so I return to where we were going. So we're going to go over here, go on to on exit, and we're going to create a code and click OK, and there's our event. All right, so I already wrote it, so let's take a look at it. I want to show you what I wrote and walk through it real quick. And this is it here. And it looks pretty long, but it's not too bad overall. Just walk through this real quick what these different parts are. UCase just converts everything to uppercase, because again, if you look at the data, I hate to rip over here again, but if you look at the data here, it's all uppercase, but the category text is not. So I want to keep that consistent with the rest of the data. So everything I return goes to uppercase. Left, that's simply saying left is a way of extracting a certain number of characters from the left of the field, and you tell it how many letters you want. This database lookup, what that's going to do is that's going to query a table based on a specific criteria. So I have D lookup here. Let's go to the top one, D lookup, and I'm telling it to go look in the category field, in the category table, and bring me back the category name that matches the category ID that's in the form. Remember, I said that it's actually a value, not a text field there. And then when I get that, based on the left, bring me back the first 3 characters from the left. And then I want to concatenate that with another left lookup, because I need the subcategory name, do the same thing, but in the subcategory table, where the subcategory ID matches the subcategory ID in the form, and the first 2 letters of that. And then the third one was the most frustrating, because I was trying to do something that maybe I shouldn't have been trying to do. But let me just real quick come back over to the data, and you notice that what I wanted is I wanted the maximum number in there, but it's concatenated with text, and I was trying to extract that from that field, and I wasn't able to do that successfully until I finally thought of a way to do it. And what I did is I said, look, I'm going to write a query, and that's this right here, and what it does is it extracts that for me. And I did that by going into just bringing in the product ID, and so I said take the right of those, the 8, and that's just the numbers, and then the val here just converts that to a numeric value, making sure that it is numeric and not text, because it comes from a text-based field. I didn't want that to be text, and so that's why I put that in there. So that's what I did, is I wrote that real quick, and what that does is when we go back over to the code, is in the Dmax lookup here, I'm saying find the item ID, which is the name of the field that I created in the query. From that query, find the maximum value in this field from this query, and then add 100 to it. Then up here I have is null. One of the things I did not want it to do was overwrite a product ID that already had one in it. So, because it's going to automatically increment it by 100, and then every time you go in there, it may automatically increment it by 100. So I said the product ID has to be null if for this to happen. And then one thing I did notice too is when I deleted product ID out of there and went back, it didn't automatically do this again. So I said, oh, it's not necessarily null, it's just empty. So I had to put, if it's null, then go ahead and do this as well. So let's go ahead and add this code into our event. All right, and I learned earlier that for some reason I missed an underscore, or I changed it, and I did not change it here. So let's put that in there. Okay, so let's just see if it works. Create a new record, and we're not going to touch the product ID. It should be created for us. And there we go. So it automatically knew it was office supplies and paper. We got the first 3 of this, the second 2 of these, and then added a number to it. So this number is 6099. Let's add one more. And there it is. It was 6099, now it's 6199. So that works for us. Just a couple things here that I would probably do. I wanted to make sure this worked, but just while I'm here, I said I want to protect this. 2 ways we can protect it. So you can see what happens is as I tab through this, it goes through the product ID. And what we want to do is protect that from happening from anybody changing it or accidentally being in there. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to protect it, and I'm going to remove it from the sequence of tabs that the cursor goes through in the field. So let's do that together here, and let's go into Form, Design, and I'm going to go to the Product ID field, and I'm going to click on the All, and near the bottom here it says Tab Stop, and we're going to change that from Yes to No. And there's another one in here, Locked, and I'm going to change that to Yes. And take a look at the difference, what happens here. So as I tab through the fields, see how it doesn't go into the product ID? Now even if it does, I've highlighted in there and I'm typing, nothing gets changed because now it's not allowing any editing to happen in there. So now that field is protected and it's automatically populated too with an auto ID. So that's it for this video. The next one we're going to go ahead and attack the other ones as we go through this process in a series of events, and then we'll combine that all into a business data entry for forms, and we'll also take into some other considerations. So until next time, I'll see you. Okay, we did the first one. We got 3 more to go. I'll be covering those in the next couple of videos. I'm trying to shorten the length of each video, so possibly just 1 per video. We'll do the customer table, order table, and location table, and create custom auto numbers for each of those. Then we'll work on creating the sales data entry forms and reports. Well, that's it for me on this journey. I hope you'll let me know if you have any project issues you are working on and see if I can help. Or just drop me a comment. Also, since you're here, sure appreciate the knowledge you were, and throw me a bone and hit the like button. And for notifications of all new videos, I hope you'll switch on the subscribe button too. Until then, we'll see you.